Hello and welcome to a new video from YCSC Lab. In this video, we'll be covering a new initiative from us, which is the CSRF Minefield version 1. So what is CSRF Minefield? CSRF Minefield is a Ubuntu Server 18.04 based virtual machine, and it is heavily ridden with cross-site request forgery vulnerabilities. Now, this VM hosts 11 real-world applications, and these applications were found to be vulnerable to this particular vulnerability. Now, your target, should you choose to accept it, is to find these vulnerabilities and detonate them before they explode the target network. You can find it on GitHub or Vulnhub. To get you started, I'll give you a brief demonstration of one of the web applications that is on this virtual machine, and we'll simulate a real-world CSRF attack. So let's move to the lab and see how this attack is going to happen. So this is one of the web applications that is hosted on this VM, and it is a hotel online reservation system, and it can be accessed using this URL. So our first task is to find this vulnerability. To do that, let's log into this application. In order to access admin interface, we just add admin to the URL, and the credentials to access it are admin and admin. We log in. So we are now in the administrative interface of this hotel online reservation web application. Now let's see if we have any forms here. The most interesting menu item here is this accounts menu. So I'll click on it, and here we have a create new and delete or edit buttons. So it is safe to assume that using the create new account button, we can create a new account, and using these buttons we can either edit or delete a particular account. Now to see if these functionalities are vulnerable to CSRF vulnerability, I'll route any further requests via burp, and I'll choose use burp for all URLs, and I already have burp suite running here. So I'm going to first try to delete this account, and I'll say yes, and let's see what burp has to show us. So this is the request that was sent via the application, and burp has intercepted it. So you can see that here, in order to delete this account, it is using a get request, and it is using this URL in which it is passing admin underscore id equal to 1 to the delete account.php file, and there is a standard PHP session id cookie, but there is nothing else here. So it's safe to assume that we can trigger this delete functionality from any other website provided this particular user is logged in. So I'm going to drop it for now because we don't want to be logged out of the system by deleting the only admin. And let me just disable burp for a moment, and I'll go back. So we have landed on the admin interface, and let's create a new account first for our demo purposes, and we'll call this YCSC lab, and user is YCSC lab, and let's keep the password also as YCSC lab, and we'll save it now. So you can see that now we have two admin accounts. One is the admin through which we are logged in, and the other account is YCSC lab, which we have just created. Now using our first attack, we will delete this account. So in order to do that, I'll enable burp again, and yes, and I send a delete request so that it gets intercepted by burp, and let's open burp now. All right, so in very simple terms, this is the URL that I need to access in order to delete this account. So let me just copy this, and now we will simulate a phishing attack by sending a spoofed mail to the administrator of this application. And for that, I'm going to use this tool called Sendy. So I already have a sample phishing mail drafted here which seems pretty genuine, and here I have embedded an image, and in this image we'll just insert the link which we want to be called, and in this case the link is to delete that particular account. We'll just prepend it with the IP address of the machine. Okay, so 192.168.162, sorry. Yeah, so that is the IP address for this machine, as you can see here. And now I'll just press OK, and if the image does not load, we'll provide a manual way to download this image, and for that also we have provided a link which we'll update here, and in this case will become this link. So this seems to be perfect. We'll just have to remove this / and we are good to go. And if you see the HTML of this particular mail, you can see that this is the link that we are targeting, and we need to insert a / here. This seems good, and this seems good also. So let's switch back to our YSWG editor. Now in order to send this to our user, we'll save it, and then we'll press save and next. Now obviously I'm not sending this out to any of the list or any bulk mail list. I'm just sending it out to a particular user, so I can use this test send this newsletter function, and I'm sending this mail to my email ID, which is udaym@yaksas.in. So let's test send it, and it says that email has been sent, and let's see if it has landed in our inbox. So I'll just go to my inbox here, and you can see that this mail has landed here, and if I click it, you can see the email content, but it has not displayed any images. Now in order to trigger that URL, we'll need to display this image. To do that, we'll simply press this display now button, and because this user is already logged in as an administrator in this application, this account has now been deleted. This can be verified by refreshing this page. Oops, looks like that attack hasn't worked. And if we go back to our mailbox, so our image also has not loaded because there was no image to be loaded. So in such a case, what would a normal user do? So we have already provided a way for him to download that image manually by providing this link. If I simulate a normal user, I would then click here to download the image. The second account has been deleted, and you can verify it by refreshing this page as well. So that means that our attack has been successful, and by phishing the user, we have successfully deleted an admin account. However, this is not much of an use to us. If using the same trick we can get the user or the admin user of this particular application to create an account for us, that would be great, wouldn't it? So let's do that next. In order to do this, we'll have to switch on burp again, and let's create a new account now. So we go to burp, and we'll drop this particular request, and rest we forward, and let's say we want the user to be created as YCSC lab, and we want the same username and the same password, and let's save it, and let's go to burp to see the request. So this is the request that this application sends out to this particular URL to create an admin account. Now if we can get our user here to simulate this submission, then we can create a new account. Now we can simulate this submission using JavaScript, and I already have created a sample code to create a new account. So in this HTML code, we are creating a simple form which contains 4 fields, and these 4 fields are same as what we see in the request parameters, the values that I want. And then when this form is loaded, or when this HTML page is loaded, I called the DOM's get element by ID to select this particular form, and then I call the submit function to submit this form. So essentially this will submit a request to this web application to create a new user for us. So let's see it in action. To do that, I'll need to host this particular file on a web server. For the purpose of this demonstration, I have already hosted this file on my Kali machine, which has this IP address. Now I'll just need to run the Apache server. And let's verify if we have this file in our web root folder. So we'll go to cd HTML, and if we do a quick ls, we can see that we have this file here. Now we don't need to change anything here. The contents of this file and this file are same, as you can verify that this is the same file essentially which I've opened up. So now all we have to do is first disable burp from here and go back in this application and go to our Sendy tool, and then we need to navigate back to editing this newsletter, and let's switch to HTML editor. So it becomes easier to modify the URLs that way, and the URL that we want is of the file that we have hosted on our Kali machine, which is YCSC CSRF.html, and let's just copy this URL from here to here. So now when the user clicks on this link, it will call this file, and this file in turn will issue the request to create a new account in this application. So let's save and next, and let's send this to our user, which is essentially me, and let's wait for the new mail to come in. So this is a new mail that has come in, and let's click on display now, and let's see if we have a new user here. We have not got a new user, so let's manually click on this link to trigger that request, which a normal user would do. And now we have the second user here with the username of YCSC2, and if I refresh this page, here we have the second user. And to test if that user works or not, we can log out from the admin account and log in with the credentials of our new user. Great. So now we have the admin access of this web application, all through this seemingly benign email, which looks really genuine. Now, to make such emails look genuine needs a bit of a creativity, so you can go and figure it out on your own. I'm not going to share any further phishing templates or any other advice on this matter. And that brings us to the end of this demonstration. Do check out CSRF Minefield. It's really fun, and you get to explore a variety of CSRF vulnerabilities. As I said, it has 11 real-world web applications, all installed and ready to be exploited. So download the VM from either GitHub link or the vulnerable link here, and have fun. Do share your write-ups with me on either of these email IDs. They are also available in the description below. So I'm looking forward to hear from you and your experience of using CSRF Minefield. This will enable me to create more such VMs in future. So that was it for this video. Thanks a lot for your support, guys, and I hope to see you in the next video very soon.